two questions that everybody's been asking themselves the last few days is, who will be brave and who will be the fucking cowards? And these are two great questions to even ask. Basically, where are all the heroes hiding at? That's been the question throughout Pumpkin Tits' squad, and see as it dwindles to less than 7 weeks away, actually 5. His frantic attempts to disparage the election and deny the results suggest that he's in the worsening grip of mental illness. Mary Trump, his niece, basically said that in her, even though she's a clinical psychiatrist, she believes, as do everybody else thinks, that Donald Trump's got it in his mind that he thinks he won the election even though he fucking lost. She says that he's the only person that she's ever met that can gaslight this himself. Such delusions aren't supposed to be contagious diseases, but Pumpkin Tits and his advocates have persuaded a sizable minority of Americans to share them, and that is more submersive of our democracy than any foreign adversary could have been intended. The blame basically belongs in large part to those Republican politicians who have failed to stand up for the truth, or worse, like Governor Ron DeSantis, have openly encouraged the orange fuckweasel's fantasies for fear of his influence. Florida Senator Marco Rubio and Rick Scott are among the majority of congressional Republicans who are missing in action. If ever they are to retrieve their conscience and regain respect, the time is now. I don't respect any Republicans because I don't have any. Congress is about to enact a defense authorization bill that Pumpkin Tits is threatening to veto for a grudge that has nothing to do with keeping the United States strong and safe. He demands entirely irrelevant language repealing the section of law that protects Facebook, Twitter, and other internet publishers from liability for what people post on their sites. Pumpkin Tits, of all people, should not want what he's asking for, since his social media posts abound with textbook examples of defamatory falsehoods. There is no justification for total repeal, and there is a middle ground. It's to hold social media responsible for failing to remove posts for which they have been shown competent evidence of malicious falsehood, and there's a broad understanding in Congress that something needs to be done. Whatever that is, however, the defense bill is not the place for it. Aside from it having nothing to do with maintaining our armed forces, the orange fuckweasel's tactic is undisguised extortion, which in most other circumstances would earn someone an orange jumpsuit. The defense authorization bill is an annual event that's necessary to spend the money that Congress has appropriated in other legislations, and to make needed improvements in the armed forces. This year's version contains, among other things, a 3% pay increase for every active duty service member. The orange fuckweasel is literally holding them hostage to his indiscriminate rage. Earlier he threatened to veto the bill should it rename certain army posts for citizens who took up arms in defense of the nation instead of against it. That provision, which would erase the names of Confederate officers from many military installations that bear these stains, remains in the bill. And it's time for Congress to call Pumpkin Tits' bluff on both issues. It should pass its compromise bill with veto-proof majorities, that is 2/3 in both houses, and do it again should he actually veto it again. The original Senate version carried an 86-14, and the House's vote was bipartisan as well. Failure is not an option unless Republicans wish to help Pumpkin Tits leave the Constitution in tatters, along with their own reputations. In 1845, the New England poet and abolitionist James Russell Lowell had wrote verses that are as applicable now as it is then. Once to every man and nation comes the moment to decide. In the strife of truth with falsehood for the good or evil side, then it is the brave man chooses while the coward stands aside. So if you liked the video, give the video a like and subscribe to my channel, Random Mike, and also hit the notification bell so that you'll be notified when the new video comes out, and thanks for listening.